Is James here? Did he make it? Oh, you are here. Oh, great. Thank you. We weren't sure we were going to make it. So quick side story before I get started. And Dr. Flatter's not going to remember this because he didn't remember what he told Susan. So,
he does remember.
You notice when I came on here, I stayed 25 meters away from that man. And he told me I always had to stay 25 meters away from him because about 2 years ago, on a spring day, hot day, I'm traveling down a road in a neighborhood I've never been in before, and I've never been back to it. Stopped at an intersection, and I roll out, and I T-bone Dr. Flatter. The saddest part of that story is, about 5 minutes after it happened, we realized we were both driving brand new cars with about 500 miles on them. He was very nice and told me I had to stay 25 meters away from him for the rest of my life. I respect that. I'm really happy to be here today. I was actually not supposed to present this award to James, but I have the distinct privilege of doing so. As I read about James and his story a little bit, I'm very glad to do this for you. There's a reason why I'm not here. His partner, Carl Pates, a colleague of James, was supposed to be here today, but instead is helping with Hurricane Ian recovery efforts in Florida, which is an effort that he and James, and I'll talk about that here in just a second, spearheaded through their organization, the 516 Project. If I'm not mistaken, James, I think you flew in maybe today. I think maybe 8 or 12 hours ago you were in Florida, so thank you for coming here today. Many of you may know James from his family business, Roberson Music. He served as the chief operating officer there, and while there, he applied to and was accepted to the 2015 class of Leadership Fredericksburg. And during that year, he earned the trust of his classmates, was voted as their class president, and went through the course and didn't stop there. He went on to join the Leadership Advisory Committee, and while there, spoke about his Leadership Fredericksburg experience. And that's a responsibility. You take time out of your job, you take time out of your family life, you speak at community events. Leadership Fredericksburg has a wonderful reputation, and people will apply to it every year by its name, but it doesn't always happen that organically. It takes folks like James who takes time out and advocates for that program, and that's why it's so successful, and some great people that go through that program. And he's really been doing that, being that advocate for about 7 years now. He served as a program mentor, which is another time commitment, and has also been a guest speaker, led Leadership Alumni Builder events, so very, very involved in Leadership Fredericksburg. James, after graduating from Leadership Fredericksburg, he followed his passion and launched a program called the 516 Project. And that was after he graduated. He serves as the founder and president of that organization. And the 516 Project, if you don't know, is a volunteer Christian-based organization, nonprofit construction ministry that works with individuals in the community to help people who need improvements to their homes to better their lives, but who otherwise would not have the resources or the ability to do that. So that's what the 516 Project does. If you are not familiar with that program, I highly recommend that you look it up. It's very, very impressive what they're doing there. And obviously that has branched out to beyond the community, being in Florida, this week and for however long you've been there. So thank you for that. I want to share Carl, the gentleman who was supposed to present this award to James this afternoon. I just want to read his comments here. He told us, I think James figured out early in life that helping others and true strangers brought him immense happiness and a true sense of purpose. His love for others is honorable, contagious, and inspiring for so many people. James's passion is loving others, sharing Jesus, and building access to hope in our community, country, and our world. Through James's courage in building this organization from the ground up, the 516 Project has helped over 1,000 families in need get access to wheelchair ramps, handicap facilities, or just a warm home with a roof that doesn't leak. James's bold vision has been the catalyst of adding a disaster response arm to 516 Project and adding new locations in Panama City, Florida, and several other pending locations. His leadership has inspired many others, and he works closely with other charitable organizations in our community to make the world a better place. I will tell you that, awards like this, they're a thing, right? You get this thing. But when you look what goes on behind the award, the ripple effect, the things that folks like James have sacrificed to make people's lives better, that's really what this is about, and that's really what these awards are for. So, James, if you could come up here, and if everyone could please join me in recognizing him with the Leadership Alumni Builders.
Well, yeah, definitely appreciate the very kind words. Like he was saying, the reason that I got into Leadership Fredericksburg was from a referral from another friend of mine, was Rob Dodd. And he had gone through the program, and he was actually, when I was still working for my parents' business, we were doing a construction project, and he was our contractor. And so we were having lunch discussing this project of building some additional studios in the music store. And as we're talking, he says, "Man," he's like, "you'd be perfect for this program I went through." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And so he tells me all about Leadership Fredericksburg, and my initial thought is, I don't know, I'll think about it. And I didn't think about it. I just kind of blew it off. And a couple days later, he calls me up and he says, "Have you applied yet?" And I said, "No, I haven't." He said, "Do it today, or I'm not building these rooms for you." Like, okay, I guess I'm applying to this program. And I definitely, it's one of the best things I've ever done. I'm so glad that I did it. There's this thing in life called Kairos moments, and those are what we know is they're God-appointed moments. And I truly feel like being a part of Leadership Fredericksburg was one of those moments in my life. It just truly changed the trajectory of where I was heading, what I thought I was doing. It did it. It led me to walk out on my family and quit a job. But no, seriously, it led me to follow what I knew God was calling me to do for a long time, that I kept pushing aside because it was crazy. It didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to leave a salary and benefits to go work for free. It's not logical. But in God's word, things aren't always logical to us as people. And so this program really pushed me to believe what the plan was for my life, to believe in myself, to understand the leadership abilities that I had, and it changed my life. So Susan, I appreciate you for all you've done for making this program possible and for dragging me along. When I went in to do my assessment with Susan, I think she wanted to smack me a couple times, because she'd ask me a question, I'd say, "Yep." And she would just stare at me like, well, what else? Like, yeah, sounds great. And I had no idea what I was doing. it was just not my thing. And so, but as the program went along, she and I have struck up a great friendship, and she's one of those people that now, I know I can text her at midnight and she'll respond to me. So it's definitely wonderful to have a friend like that. I appreciate it. But no, thank you all very much. I really, really appreciate this, and look forward to all that Leadership Fredericksburg has to continue offering to our community.